Hey, Mark Silverman back with you from NetPicks. The purpose of this video is to show you how you can pick the top cryptocurrency markets for potential 50% to 500% moves and only take 5 minutes or less to find these markets. This is a critical part of trading in the cryptocurrency markets, especially given how powerful some of the moves have been here in 2023 and is setting us up for a very exciting 2024. Now, I suggest that you watch the video I posted just a few days ago. This is all about how we trade for the longer term with our Elite 7. And then we go into some details in this video on how we trade what we call our crypto rocket trades, because that's going to feed into what I'm going to talk about here today. So the big question is, there's so many markets that are out there, right? There are thousands of crypto markets out there. How do you choose the best, most tradable markets? You could try to research and learn about each project. This is typically what people tell you to do, and then start to make some decisions. So I asked ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, what steps should I to find markets that are worth trading for these 50%, 100%, 500% moves that are happening right now? The AI told me I should do. And this is actually good advice if you have a lot of time to learn about dozens, if not hundreds, of markets. And I won't read through everything here, but you can see, understand the basics of cryptocurrency and the blockchain. Read the white papers, read the websites, research the team, research the developers, understand the technology, understand the real world applications, the use cases, get involved in the community, understand who they're partnering with, all the collaborations, understand the tokenomics, the market performance, the market data, understand things about regulatory compliance, understand the security, development activity, what's the roadmap, analyze it critically, be skeptical, look for red flags, read independent reviews, do ongoing monitoring, stay up to date, and diversify all your research. That's fantastic advice. And if you want to become an expert on a specific project or projects, way to do that. But this would take dozens of hours per project. Now, I know personally, I'm not prepared to put this much time and do it dozens of different times. I needed to come up with a way to find markets that are just simply actively trading. I'm simply looking to get in, get out, and get done, meaning we're looking to enter, we're looking for good profit targets, and we're looking to exit. And if we're wrong, same thing. We're looking to get out and move on to the next. Right now, when the markets are moving the way they are, both up and we'll see down as well, there are just many opportunities to be had as an active trader. Personally, I don't think you need to be spending all that time trying to do a deep dive. If you want to hold on to one of these projects for a long term, absolutely, you should go through that process. That's why we came up with our Elite 7, which are the 7 we're holding for long term. That's a different story. But when it comes to what I call our crypto rockets, I don't really need to know much about that market at all. It's just another symbol as far as I'm concerned. I'm just looking for price action. So what I want to do is I want to find markets that are highly volatile, are moving up and down, and they're doing that well above the market averages, because in crypto, as we've learned, this tends to repeat itself over and over again. So I'm going to give you a couple different ways to do this and some things to look for. The first is crypto bubbles. You can go to a website. It's called cryptobubbles.net, and very visually, this will immediately give you the top gainers and losers. For instance, I put into this the top 100 based upon the US dollar. Right away, I actually noticed multiple markets that we happen to be actively trading in our crypto rockets. In fact, this market, Injective, Rose, STX, Arbitrum, Mina, ICP, are in my crypto rockets list that I'll share with you in just a moment. Solana is one of our Elite 7. And a lot of these have been picked really months ago, but they're in this list being the most active up and down on a weekly basis. Now, you can go down to a daily, as you can see, and what you're going to find is you're going to start to look for some patterns, some names that you'll see repeated over and over between the day, the week, and even the month. Now, I wouldn't go as far as the year. I don't want to go out too far in advance. I'm looking for volatility and movement up and down right now. Now, I can go beyond the top 100 markets, by the way. I can go to the top 200, 300, 400, 500. If you want to find some markets that are definitely going to be small cap and micro caps, going all the way down to the top 500, that may be something worth doing. Certainly top 200, you can find opportunities. Look at some of these in one month. This market, I don't even know what this market is. It's 1,400%. This market up 1,300%. This is not that unusual in crypto right now, and we're still not in what anybody would consider the ultimate bull market. If we go to a weekly basis, look at these weekly gains. Again, you're seeing some of the same markets mentioned over and over again. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for patterns over time. You can do this in a few minutes. You can start to just write a few of these down. And by the way, you can actually look for the markets that go down as well and check the charts. Make sure that many times these big corrections are in a big bull market. And this is what I want to have happen. I want these markets to go down. This IOTX is down 13% today. For the week, it's up 50%. That's right away going to go on my list as a good probability of a very tradable market because, yes, it's in a little bit of a correction right now. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want to chase the parabolic runs. I don't want to chase a market like this, like Ray, that's already up 92% of the week. Look, could it go higher? Absolutely. But the odds start being against it. The next thing I like to do is I'll scroll down here and I'll have all of these crypto bubbles sorted in a list. And I'll click here and I'll sort by the week, for instance. And you can see here the top market on the week in the top 200 is Radium, 92%. Then Helium Mobile up 51%. I like to see this where this was down 25% on the day, up 51% on the week, up 1,500% on the month. That means, yes, there's a bit of a corrective move going on here, but this could be setting up with this pullback the next solid trade. The next thing that I do, I'll start to write some of these down before I go to my charts, is I will make sure that my broker trades the market because there's no sense putting the time and effort in if your cryptocurrency broker doesn't trade it. For instance, I trade at Coinbase, which is the one on the end here, the C. I'm right away to eliminate a lot of these markets because they're not all traded on Coinbase. But this one is live peer. This one's up 40% on the month, 35% on the week. This one here, Bounce Token, up 800% on the year, 300% on the month, 33% of the week, down 16% per day. Excellent, because that means it's starting to see a bit of a correction. I may be setting up buy opportunity, even if I've never traded this market. Decentralized right here, 282% on the year, 185% on the month, 30% on the week. Again, trades at Coinbase. KC here is KuCoin. This is Binance. This is Bybit. So it depends upon your broker, and you need to have a cryptocurrency broker. You can see which brokers trade and very visually start to come up with a list of very tradable markets. I can come up with 10 names in easily probably 2 or 3 minutes by doing this. Right away on my list, I would have IOTEX for Coinbase. I would be writing down LivePeer. I would be writing down Bounce, Telor, Decentralized, Scale, Kusama, Biconomy. I honestly couldn't tell you what any of these do. This is 24-hour volume, so you can see the amount of volume that's being traded. This market, Orca, is down a little bit on the week. It's down a little bit on the day, having a little bit of a correction yet, but obviously one that's been a big winner, and it trades, in my case, on the exchange that I'm trading. Once you have that list of names, the next thing you need is a reliable trading system that needs to identify exact entry points. You don't want to be chasing the thing that's up 90% just because it's up 90% or 100%. You don't want to chase those parabolic moves. It can sometimes work, but it gets very random. You want something that can identify entries and exits with positive reward to risk ratios. For example, with our crypto rocket strategy that I'll show you in a moment here, we have about a 2-to-1 reward risk ratio right at the outset. I target 20% on my fixed target, and then I let my trailers run. So I'll exit about half the trade at 20%. That can happen very quick. And then I let the trailer go as far as it wants to go. And in a bull market, it's not uncommon to see 200%, 500%. It happens all the time. Let me show you our current open trades, and I want to show you some of the markets that we identified. So right now you can see here, this is the list of the markets that I'm tracking actively with our crypto rocket strategy. You can see they're all basically in green, except for one market that's down, just one out of all these. And then the ones that are not currently in green or red are brand new setups. So this market and this market, ILV here, LDO, MPL, RBN, RPL, these have all pulled back. And now they have brand new setups that I can take with my system. And I have exact entry points with my crypto rockets. Now, one of the markets, if you recall, that we identified was Bounce. This has been a parabolic run to the upside. Now, would you right now buy? Look, if you bought right here, it's possible it would work out. But in my system, it's going to need to pull back into some support before I enter. This is on a daily chart. I don't have to trade just on a daily chart. If I'm looking to be really bullish this market, I want to get in and really jump on the momentum, I can bring this down, for instance, to a 4-hour chart. You can see I'm setting up here on a 4-hour chart, a brand new entry. This is my entry point here. And it's going to give me an exact price to get in. So this pullback on a 4-hour could be perfect. And look, even on a 4-hour, this market, when it's triggering, this last trigger that we had just a couple days ago, that went 56%. Here is one also in December, by the way. These are both in December. This one popped 98%. So these are multiple setups on a 4-hour chart that have gone a long way. It's not guaranteed. It's not perfect. It doesn't mean that it has to go another 58%. But these tend to repeat themselves when they get this active and this volatile. If you remember, Orca was one that I mentioned had a pretty big sell-off today, right? That's a pretty large sell-off today. So it's starting to move back down into support. Now, it's not there yet on the daily. If I was to go down to a 4-hour, lo and behold, I have a setup right here. When we're getting moves like this off of even 4 hours, like this move to here is 146% in a few days. This move here on December 13th to here was 41%. This move here that we had recently, a couple days ago, this one went 16% before it came back down. So I didn't get my full 20% on this pop, but I'm setting up another one here. Now, if you want to trade just off the daily, that's the easiest way to do it. That's why I showed you, like, we have multiple setups right now. Like, for instance, this is one market that's worked really great for us on a daily chart. I've got a setup right here. I always take the most recent setup. The last time we had a trade on this one, way down here, all the way up to here, this one went 344%. Now, of course, we don't get out at the peak, but just if you can get a piece of a 344% move, life is pretty good. This was a market that I identified a little while ago, just using the same process, Fetch AI. It's on Coinbase. It was one of the ones that I showed you just a couple days ago on a daily. We had this setup here, December 8th, and it's gone 36% to the upside. It's going to need a pullback here. When I set up these watch lists, it doesn't mean that I'm immediately going to have a trade, but then I can just check it once a day on my system if I'm using a daily chart. And that's all I need to do. Here's another market that we identified, right? This was Blur, USD. Looks really good to me. And we had a setup here a while back that did well. We've got a really good pullback. And with our crypto rocket system, we have a brand new setup right here. No guarantee. But when you see this type of movement on the upside, this really good constructive pullback, this is a bullish setup here. I'm more than happy to take this next setup, and I just wait on it at this point. Your last move from prior entry to here was 302%. You don't need to go very far to go 20%, right? When you see that this is capable of a triple, it doesn't mean this next setup is going to triple. It's already gone a long ways. But can you see how a 20 to 50% move would be very doable on a market that has just done this prior? This was another one we saw that showed up multiple times. That's why it's on our list now. We had a setup here back in November. It didn't fill until December, and you can see it's gone on a really nice run. Do I want to chase this higher? No. I'm going to wait for pullbacks. Now, again, even all the way down to 4 hours and see if we can start getting set. We're getting close here. This closes below this lower channel. That will create my next buy setup. And they look pretty good. You can see prior buy setups here back in November, 129%. Here's another one here, right? I mean, that one went almost 100% or over 100%. So I can feel pretty good about this one if we get this pullback in the setup. If I'm waiting on a daily, want to make my life really easy, then I just track multiple trades with my system and I just wait. And I've got multiple setups already on the daily. So I don't need to force on a 4 hour because I've got how many open possibilities here? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different possible setups coming up here in the short term. So the key to all of this is coming up with your list, finding names. You could try to research every one of these projects, become an expert at it, fundamentals. But when you're just trying to be a crypto trader, you just don't need to go through that if you're not looking to hold something for the long term. Just right away, you could have an amazing list just from the top 100 over the last week. I guarantee if you write down SEI, Beam, ICP, Osmo, Injective, NEAR, Tau, FIL, OP, STX, KAS, and then watch these, you're going to see more than likely these are going to be the same markets that are going to go down and then back up. And it will not be unusual to see 20, 30, 40, 50%. Just look for that overlap overall, and no problem at all. You can come up with 10 to 20 names, and then it's a matter of just making sure your broker trades those. I'm looking for those much bigger gains. That's why I'm playing in this territory when the monthly and the weekly and the dailies are much bigger gains above average. That's how we do it. This entire list here, I've been trading most of these names, about 80% of these, for over 6 months, in many cases over a year. Even during the bear market, I was trading most of these names. We don't change this list very often. I would say once a month, we'll add on a few markets, we'll remove a few. And that's the good thing about you do this exercise. You really only have to do it once in a while. But I suggest definitely when the markets are really starting to move and getting very volatile, definitely do it on a regular basis, especially if you're looking to build that initial list. And you'd be surprised, a lot of the names will stay tradable and very viable for weeks or even months. And then I just once in a while start to rotate some of those out. If you would like, we can do the work for you and come up with the list of markets as well as the entry points, the targets. If you're interested in the description down below, there's a link. We're currently on a wait list on our Crypto Rockets system. Go to that link and put your email in. We'll notify you when it comes available. You, of course, can do this on your own as well. I've showed you how to come up with your own list, and then you just need to have a good, reliable trading system like I've shown you here. So just use the link down below if you are interested, and look forward to talking more about these markets in the weeks to come.